Hey everybody, my name is Enrique Cisneros, and welcome to my video game mechanic that I created. So, my game mechanic is the memory game, and I got direct inspiration from the Simon Says game that everyone used to play when they were kids. That four quadrant, red, blue, green, yellow, and it would like go in a specific order, and it'll get like exceedingly challenging. So, let me just showcase a little bit of what I got. So, when the player gets into the game, they step on this, it shows a text saying press button for Simon Says. When you press it, a specific sequence will go off from red, blue, yellow, and green. Now, if the player decided not to do that and just picked whatever color, an error sound would go off. You hear that? Bam. Okay, so let's go back and let's double check. So red, blue, yellow, and green. And you hear a success go off. And the player can now walk past the wall. And there you go. That is my mechanic. So let me showcase a little bit of what I got. So the first thing I did was enum, so I can collect all of the colors that I wanted to collect. So one would be base color, one would be red, one would be blue, one would be yellow, and then green. I picked enum because it made sense in my head to collect them all together and find out how to code it where red equals red, blue equals blue, etc. So I made a child blueprint of tile. So let me show you right here. A little bit of spaghetti, but it's okay. So the first thing I did was I want to be able to have these tiles be any color I want, right? Their base color is gray, it's kind of boring, but I didn't really change it because in the editor, it doesn't really matter. And plus I wanted to see it myself. So let's go back to color tile. And the first thing, let's read this comment. Allows editor to change the colors in real time to have it set to any color of the five. Base color, red, blue, yellow, and green. So making it a create dynamic material instance will have the player change it in real time and change it to whatever material that the plane is set to. Now the plane is actually the pad itself that changes the color right here. Let's go back into event graph. So every time the player switches any of them, making an instance editable, any of these from the enum, I basically connected the enum and made tile color into the enum. And I stored it and have it put into switch. So from switch, enum stores data of colors. When editor changed colors in viewport, they are changed to its respective material. I created in M material underscore base tile and made four instances of red, blue, yellow, and green. So right here, you can switch to any color you want using the create dynamic over here. And each color being respective color. So base color will be set to this right here, the material. So that's the grid, the normal colored grid. And red being red color grid. And blue, yellow, and green. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. So the first thing I did was made a material instance called base color, just to be simple. So I made base color, and this thing should pop up immediately. Base tile, and I right clicked this. Hold up. Yeah, here we go. I right clicked the base color that had nothing on it already, and I right clicked it and promote to parameter. Now, this one's different because it's not a color parameter or vector. So I named it base color so I can remember that. And after that, made the normal into a map. The map is basically like the material type, so it can be unique in the game. Like, see this? The blue, yellow, red has like a kind of like a filter or like a texture to it. So let's go back. Sorry, it's right here. That's all I did right here. Let's apply. And I made a material instance by right clicking it and create material instance of four of the colors. One being blue, and this should pop up on the right for details, and it should be nothing, it should be blank. So since we made a base color from the material itself, we can then change to any color we want by clicking this and set the values to whatever we want. So for blue, it'll just press 1 for blue, press OK, and save. That's it. And I did that for all four of the tiles so I can collect these colors. And that is how I got my reference for color tiles. So the materials could be MI, material instance, blue tile, right here, MI underscore blue tile, and green tile, etc. So that is how I can change the colors in real time. So this is the mother of most of my programs right here. And after that, next is we want to do touch tile. The touch tile is the actual tile, this tile itself. This is considered the touch tile. So event begin play. Well, we would just automatically leave it as is and delete everything else. And on entered, when the player enters, when player steps on a tile with circles, it inputs new arrays collected and pushes the button down. So those are the two things it does. So on an entered, it casts to entity player, so it knows the player stepping on it. I created sequence because you can't put two different ones. See, you can't put it at the same time. Let me show you real quick. See at the same time. So instead, I just put it into a sequence. So the first thing it does is valid. It only activates when player steps on it, touch tile. And then after that, adding tile stepped on into the array that keeps track. So basically, every time the player steps on a tile, it keeps track of what's being stepped on, and it counts a specific number like 0, 1, 2, 3, and then that's it. And I have it to puzzle wall. Puzzle wall is this right here. This is the child blueprint of normal wall. So puzzle wall was relatively easy to make. So the first thing I did was unlock door. Unlock door goes into a specific timeline, and it goes into a timeline that goes down from its current position and goes all the way down just below the tile itself. So it's just seamless. And I set that to 1 second exactly. So after the 1 second delay, the current tile will change. So it'll set to new tile type, and I put it to floor tile so the player can walk over it. And then it updates the tile in real time, and that's all it should do. So after that, I then did a check array. I made an array of both button combo and button array. These two right here. So button combo is an array of integers, right? Yeah, array of integers from BP touch tile. So BP touch tile, what it does is it collects the data in real time right here of what specific order the button combo should be in. So I manually inputted it, so it's not random at all. Everything is completely manual. So this one being touch tile 0, touch tile 5, touch tile 7, and touch tile 9. So I put it in that specific order: tile 0, tile 5, tile 7, and tile 9. It doesn't say the color itself because I wanted to be uniform and I wanted touch tile to be one blueprint because I already had tired of making multiple blueprints. But anyway, after I made touch tile into, button combo into the puzzle wall so I can collect the data of what specific sequence should be played, the button array is where the player steps on it, making an input. So if these two inputs are equal to each other, being the button combo is equal to the player's input, it'll make a true branch, the if branch, unlocking the door and playing a success sound. If false, I had to make another if statement. If false, the branch will make a the sound, an error sound will make a sound only if the array index, the current index of the button array, is equal to 0. So 0 meaning like it resets the count, so it only counts up to 3. So after that, let's go back to our touch tile. So that is the puzzle wall itself, and then you collect down to target to button array. So whatever the button array has, that's the set array elem. That's the total amount. And also it counts the array index, what current index it's being generated, what buttons are being pressed in specific orders, and the count goes up. So the self is basically the actual touch tile itself. And every time a player touches a new one, a plus plus increment will be played. And also an if statement saying that if the player index of whatever player has touched so far is greater than 3, then the array index was reset to 0. And the check array back here, so if the specific order of operations is set by the player into the specific order that has been placed via the button combo index right here, then the unlock door will happen. If it doesn't, if the player steps on the wrong buttons and it's not greater than 3 and like it ends up restarting, it's not specific order, then it'll check the array again anyway, and the false statement will come up and it'll make an error sound. So that's it so far. Okay, now I just jumped fast forward and now I am at Simon's tile. Simon's tile is basically a child blueprint of color tile, and it has nothing to do with the actual touch tile that I made and I showed you that's connected to the wall puzzle. So Simon's tile is only connected to the color tile, meaning I can change the colors in real time and I can have it set to a specific color. So let me show an example of what one of the tiles is. So this is the Simon's tile is only Simon's tile. It has nothing in there. There's no code in there. This is all you see. So I made child blueprints of this, showing 4 of these being different colors. These are technically Simon tiles, but they're child blueprints, and I made them to specific colors. So let me show you red. So red itself is actually a red tile. It's set to a red tile. And that goes for the other ones too, like yellow. No, I am sorry. So the default color is the brick color. That's right. And I made it to that specific color, so like it can show in game, in editor and in game, that these are kind of just like blanks. You don't really see anything going on until something is activated. So let me show you where the stuff is activated. Let me show you in the interaction BP replay. It's a child blueprint of entity. So interactable entity. So this is the child blueprint of the interactable entity, which is called BP underscore replay. So BP underscore replay, it starts off with the event interact. So when player presses E, it starts the order the puzzle needs to be pressed by the player. If the if statement checks to see if all the tiles are equal to the brick color, which is the default color. If true, then the materials will change, given the illusion that tiles change colors. So, example. So since they're all brick colors, all 4 of them, then you can press the sequence. But if you spam E, it won't go off. And that's the reason why for the if statement. So you don't spam it over and over and over. So let's check out what the actual blueprint does. So as soon as interact happens, let's say it's true, all the values are true, the red tile itself will change colors to red tile, which is the material instance. And then a specific delay happens, and after that, it changes back to its normal color, its colored grid, and immediately after that, the blue tile changes color to blue, and etc., etc. Underneath the replay checker, this is, I'm going to be real quick on this, the condition for the if statement in event graph. This says if all the 4 tiles, red, blue, yellow, and green, are the default colors at the same time, then basically, if they're all of them are the same exact color of grid of brick, then being true, it'll play. If false, nothing happens. That's it. That's all it does. And that is the basis of it so far. Let me double check real quick.